Yes, sir.
All right, now you've heard about Einstein's theory of relativity. Well, basically, I have a theory of relativity on the mandolin. And I'm going to tell you generally what we're going to talk about before we get there. So right now I'm just going to kind of broad brush a bunch of stuff. You don't have to catch all of this right at the moment. But basically, the way I teach mandolin is everything is relative from where you start. In other words, if you learn to play a song in the key of G, the way I teach it, then immediately you'll know how to play it in every song, every key. If you learn how to pick it in one key, you'll be able to pick it in another key. And because everything is done the same. Let me give you just a quick demonstration of what I mean by that. Path on the soul mountainside, where I wander when I was a lad. It's just a kind of a circle. And I wander alone to the place I call home, those blue ridge hills far away. So just three chords, and it just goes in a circle. Okay, now let's say somebody says, well, I can't do it in G, I have to do it up in B. Okay, so we slide all the way down here to B. Only difference is I have to sing higher. There's a well-beaten path on this old mountainside where I wandered when I was a lad. See, it's the same circle, exactly the same. In other words, I start here, I go up here, and I move down 2. Here, there's 1, there's 4, there's 5. So I'm actually going to incorporate the natural number system in this a little bit, and then we'll really get into the natural number system in the second hour if you want to choose to do that. But anyway, so my point is that everything you learn on the mandolin will be like that. In other words, if you've learned it in one place, then all you have to do is slide up and down the neck, and it'll be exactly the same. Okay, well first, I'm putting the cart before the horse. I'm just kind of tell you where we're headed. Now let's talk about some of the real basic stuff first. And some of the basic stuff is how to hold the mandolin. One thing, and this is not critical, but these are a lot of minor little tidbits. For instance, you don't want to hold it flat against your waist or stomach, whatever, because it kind of deadens the tone. And mandolins are notorious for sounding thin and tinny anyway, so you want to get it out away from your body, kind of hold it at a quarter angle like that, so that it lets the whole body of the mandolin vibrate, okay? And that's one thing. Second thing is this left hand. Most everybody, when they first try to learn, they'll either try to do it like this, or they'll get this hand way around here like this, and you can't do either of those. What you have to do is just let it lay right across the hand and bend these fingers around, okay? Just bend them right around, and they always should be pointing straight down. They should never be like this. Yep. See, never like that. Always pointing straight down. So the fingernail is pointing straight down at the fretboard, okay? So the left hand is just relax it, let it curl around, and all the fingers are pointing straight down. Okay? The right hand, the pick, everybody's going to do this a little different, but the one thing I don't want to see you do is I don't want to see you holding your pick out like this where there's a whole bunch of picks sticking out. What I want you to do is shorten that pick up. And there's a bunch of reasons for that. For one thing, is when you shorten that pick up, you have specific control of where that pick is. When it's way out here like this, it's flopping around, and it's really hard to control it specifically. And on a mandolin, again, because they always sound thin and tinny, whenever you put the pick way out here, you hear a lot of pick slap and a lot of crud going on. But when you put the pick in real close, it's really tight and gives you a real specific sound. And when you get to the point where you're doing tremolo, there's no way you can do a tremolo like that. You just can't do it. So you have to have that pick really shortened up. The way I do it is I turn this knuckle parallel to the strings. In other words, I have only been playing a little short time here. By the time we're done, you'll see black all over that nail because I keep rubbing it right on the strings. And so that nail is like that, and I just barely stick the pick below it, and I hold it like that. The only place in this right hand there should be any pressure at all is those two fingers right there. This rest of that hand should be loose. It doesn't matter whether you curl it under, whether you keep it out, I don't care, but it should be loose. There should be no tension in the rest of that hand. It should just, and that wrist, it's more wrist action than it is arm action. So when we start to play, you'll notice that I'm not doing this. It's just a wrist thing. See? So it's all compact, little short things, because, bluegrass music gets really fast, and there are a lot of really fast songs, and if you're doing this, you just never keep up. So it's all real compact, little short strokes. The good news is there's only one chord you literally have to learn, period. Just one chord. But the bad news is it's that chord. So it's simple, but it's complicated. So the good news, then the bad news, well then the good news is that for starting out, you can just concentrate on those two fingers, okay? So the whole chord is like that. But for starting out, you just concentrate on these two fingers, okay? And anywhere, literally anywhere, you put those two fingers down in that same configuration, anywhere, you're making a chord. Anywhere. It doesn't matter where you do it. You stick it anywhere you want to. Now it just becomes, what is that chord? What's the name of the chord? And that's even simpler. I mean, it's so simple to learn the mandolin, it's ridiculous. If you think of music, it's just a tiny circle. Everybody thinks it's so complicated. There's so many thousands of possibilities. Well, there's really only 7. I mean, so you start at the top like a clock, and it's just got 7 numbers or 7 letters rather than the 12, okay? So you start, and I usually think of the top as G. Mainly because I'm thinking in reference to a mandolin, and when you start right here, that's the G. But anyway, so I think of it as like G, A, B, C, D, E, F, okay, and then G again. And so it's just a tiny little circle, and it just repeats all the way up and down the fretboard of the mandolin. It repeats on every instrument the same way too, actually. But the mandolin is especially easy because you literally only have to play this one chord. Where on the guitar, you got different positions, different shapes, so it's a little more complicated. But on this, it's just one position, period, one shape. Now, granted, if you go get a Mel Bay book, they're going to show you 5 different ways to play different chords, you know what I mean? And actually, Mel Bay was a friend of mine. I knew him. I knew him pretty well. And I was starting to write my own theory when he died. He was in his 80s he was actually in his early 80s when I first met him. But anyway, so I don't really mean to say anything bad about Mel Bay, but his mandolin books suck, in my opinion. They just aren't any good. Because they show all these weird configurations, and it doesn't have to be that complicated. So, okay. So then, taking that circle theory down to application, and that is, you start here, your middle finger, by the way, your middle finger in this configuration, the middle finger is the note finger, if you will, or the chord finger. So that's the G note right there. Then it goes, 2 frets down, it goes to A. So that finger is the A note again. Then you move it 2 more, that's the B. Then 1 more is the C. Then 2 more is the D. Then 2 more, again, would be an E. And then 1 more is an F. So, I mean, you literally just going down that circle, G, A, B, C. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F, okay? But we're not going to go that far down the neck. We're only going to go like this. Here's what you need to concentrate on. Here's how far down. You got your G, then you got your A, then you got your B, and then 1 more fret is C. Now if you notice, this middle finger is in the dotted fret every time until you get down to C. Okay? So the middle finger, the note finger, is in the dotted frets. Okay? So G, A, B, C. You'll notice on there that I have 1 M and I have a 7 on there also. Now, the reason I really recommend you learn this chord structure rather than something like Mel Bay, here's the reason. This is the big payoff right here. So watch this. Anytime you're in a full chord and anytime you need a minor, all you have to do is back that finger up 1 fret and you got a minor. No matter where you are. If I'm in B, I want a B minor. There's a B minor. See? It's so simple. It's nothing to it. So all you really do is you learn in 1 chord, and then from there you can get all the rest of your chords. So anywhere you are. Now I'm not saying it's easy to back that finger up. I ain't sitting here telling you that. But you always know where the minor is. It's just 1 fret behind where your fingers are. So like A minor. If I wanted an A flat minor, I just back up A flat minor. See? I'm at A flat and A flat minor. So any place you are, you get your minor. Okay? It works every time. There's no exceptions. Got it? Okay, now the 7ths are the same way. The 7ths are a little more complicated, but they're on here too, and I just want to show you. And you don't have to learn the 7ths today, but I'm going to show you why you will want to learn 7ths. Okay? Here, let me just show you. Here's an example of a 7th. Here's my G. There's my G 7th. Take this finger off and jump that finger up. Now because it's G 7th. So anywhere you are, A 7th, B 7th. Yeah, so I'm going up to the D. I'm going up to the D string. This finger has to come off. So like that. So that gives you all your 7ths then, see? Or if I'm up here on the C 7th, D 7th, E 7th, okay? All the 7ths come the same way. Now, let me give you an example of a song with 7ths and without 7ths. I'll first do it plain, And I'll show you why you'll want to learn sevenths, okay? There's a well-beaten path on this old mountainside where I wandered when I was a lad. Simple, plain, clean, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can dress it up with sevenths. There's a well-beaten path on this old mountainside where I wandered when I was a lad. And I wandered along to the place I called home in those Blue Ridge hills far away. Just kind of like a little flick. Just a little flick of the wrist. It's just a wrist thing. It's not an arm thing at all. So, and it's just a very short stroke. Again, if you just hit those 3 strings, you're doing great, because then you don't get that tinny thin sound. So just those. So when you hear me playing it, you just hear that top little sound. That's all hit. Okay. There's a well-beaten path on this old mountainside where I wandered when I was a lad. Okay. Everybody got it? Sounds very good. Okay. Now let's go ahead and we'll do the same sound. We're going to slow it down. And I want you to start trying to move your fingers. Now, here's how it does it. It's just very simple. It's just G, then it's C, then it's D. Okay, and then it goes back to G, C, D. G, C, D. So it's almost all your songs on the mandolin are going to be an L pattern, if you will. If you think of this as an L, so you got, you're going up and then down. So it's kind of like an L or a triangle, if you will, whichever makes more sense to you. Almost all the songs you play on the mandolin are going to look like that. Okay? Especially if they have what we call the 1-4-5 chord, which is what we're playing here. Okay. All right, we're going to slow it down. Now try to keep, the main thing I want you to do, now listen to me on this, very important. The main thing I want you to do is keep this hand in time no matter what this hand does. Here's my golden rule on playing music. This is the golden rule. Nothing's more important than this rule. That is, you never let this hand screw up this hand. Okay? This hand is the hand that rules. So 80% of your concentration is right here. Maybe even 90%. 10 or 20% is over here. Okay? Mostly keep this hand in time. If you get this hand to move approximately correctly, great. If you don't worry about it. Keep this hand in time. As a matter of fact, here's the best way to do it. Now, you're not going to like this. The best way to do it is don't look at this hand. If you look at this hand, you're going to get out of time. I guarantee you. Look at my hand. Look right here. Watch this hand move approximately the same way I'm moving. I don't care if you hit the right notes. I truly don't. I want you to keep this hand in time and move approximately like I'm moving. Okay? So watch this hand. Don't watch your hand. If you watch your hand, you will screw up. I guarantee you. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do it really slow. There's a well-beaten path on this old mountainside where I wandered when I was a lad. And I wandered along to the place I call home in those Blue Ridge hills far away. Oh, I